Okay, so let's get started with the bottom area now. I think what I'm going to do first is, we've got his feet here obviously. I'm just going to do the outline of that and then probably do the branch before I fill the feet in. I haven't put the clip on mine. He's got a little clip on his leg here, but I haven't added that on mine, so yeah, just so you know, I haven't got that. So yeah, I'm going to use the burnt sienna, and I'm just going to get the shape of his legs, just do the outline, and then we go from there. And I'm just going to take my time. I have lost a bit of my line art, but I'm checking my reference photo. They've got quite long little feet. I'm just going to do sort of a rough line really of the outside, the outline. I think I've come down a bit. I've given him a fat little toe there. I can go over that when I do the branch. Yeah, I've just made it a bit too fat. Not a problem. And then in the reference photo, his claw comes right down here. So yeah, they're quite long, aren't they? Let's move over to this leg. Need to fill this one in first, don't we? I'm getting ahead of myself. No, I'm not going to worry about the claws, we can add that in at the end. Okay, so that's his first foot. Okay, I think that's pretty much in. I think that's okay. So I'm not going to put the claws in until the end. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So that's his little feet in. So let's get this little branch in next. So I'm going to start with the warm grey 2, and we've got all this moss, dry moss on the top here. But I'm going to do the bark bit first, fill all that in, get the bark colour in and all the different colours. I think we've got a bit of burnt sienna that's coming down here. So little bits of different browns, put that in, and then we'll put this lovely yellow mossy stuff on the top. So yeah, I'm going to go in with the warm grey 2. And then we've got a bit of detail going on down here. think I might leave that for the minute. Just do the bark area first. I mean, that is bark as well, but that's a bit lighter. I think I'm going to fill that bit in a bit. So I've got a bit of a paper mark, I've got a bit of a mark coming across my paper here. It came like that, unfortunately, but it's just one of those things. I'm just going to ignore it. I don't think it will really affect my drawing, to be fair. Just move my photo up. No. Yeah, so it just ends here. We've got more moss, that bit, and then we've got a bit of bark here. It's like a long scratch across the paper. Okay, so I think I've filled in pretty much most of the bark area. I'm just going to do a bit more work on that. So we've got some nice orangey colours here. Okay, so I've got a few colours to fill in the bark and the moss area. Whether I use all the colours, but we'll see. I've got the burnt ochre here in the Polychromes. We've got like an orangey colour down here, and then I think a bit of burnt sienna would be good. So I'm just going to do a bit at a time, really. You can spend a lot of time on this if you really want to do a close-up detailed branch. It all depends on you. And I'm not going to go super realistic, but put in quite a bit of detail. I'm going to run that along actually just a bit more. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of different colours going on, so it'd be nice to put them all in. So wherever I see this colour, I'm just putting it all in. I might put a bit of this on top of the yellow later as well. So I'm just going to go to the burnt sienna now. We've got a couple of lines there in the bark, so I'm just putting them in. Put a bit over here. Okay, so on this bit here we've got like a reddish brown, and then we've got a bit up here and then it goes a bit greeny. So I'm wondering if the caput mortuum would be good here. I'm going to do a bit of that. So I've got the caput mortuum, which is sort of like a reddish brown colour. Shame I didn't do my line art just a bit higher really, to avoid this little mark on the paper. Just going to run this along the bottom. I think it's got to be a lot darker, but I'll just run it across. So I've now got the sepia 50. I'm just going to, drop the pencil there. I'm going to darken up some areas with this. Just take that mark out there. So yeah, I've got the sepia 50. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on, I'm just putting the colour on. I'm going to be using I think it's the olive brown as well for the greeny bit. I'm just sort of doing jagged edges. Obviously I don't want a proper, you know, a shape. I need irregular to make it look more like bark. And while I've got this colour, I'm just going to come over this lighter bit where it's dark. I've just moved my dog's bed because I've had a bit of a move around, and I don't think she's very happy. It's still under my desk, but she's sitting behind me on the carpet. I don't think she's very happy because I've moved it. But it should be cosy because she's got a nice little bed under the desk, which is right next to the heater, which is only warm, it's not hot, so it's probably quite cosy under there, but she obviously doesn't think so. Okay, then we've got this bit over here. Let's put this in. Again, I'm just doing irregular shapes. She's on the move again. You can sit in your bed. Okay, and then let's do a bit on this bit here. I'm quite looking forward to putting all the moss in actually. Nice bright yellows. So we've got this bit here, that's moss bit there. So I'm not following every single shape exactly. So I'm now going to go back to the caput mortuum and just go over the sepia that we've just done. Just add a bit of red where we need to. And then I've got another colour, a new colour to put in. I mean, obviously this bark area needs to be a lot darker, but we're just putting in the other colours at the moment. Just slowly building it up. I'm going to put a bit of that red up the top here as well, but we've also got a bit of green algae on the top. So it's just drawing what you see really, it's just lots of shapes and colours. Keep referring back to your photo. So now I'm going to switch to a green. I've got the brown olive 50% in the Luminance, olive brown, sorry. And these are quite nice colours. bit over here, not a lot. I think what we'll do now is get the cotton bud, get a clean cotton bud, and do a bit of blending. So I've got a nice dry cotton bud here. I'm going to go with the dark sepia now and start darkening around the edges. Get a bit of depth. Got some lines in the bark here that I'm just sort of adding as I'm going along. I'll probably darken them up at the end. Back to the olive brown, 50. Get a bit of caput mortuum, I think now. There you are. No, that's not it. So I've just got the caput mortuum here. I'm just thinking actually a sepia 10 would be good as well. So I've got the sepia 10 here. Just want to blend everything a bit more. Just feel the tooth of the paper and then we can put a bit more detail in. And that's working quite nicely. Okay, I'm going to go back to the dark sepia now. Just darkening these edges up. And we can put some of these patterns in the bark a bit more again. That bit's just coming off up the top there, so I've just added a bit more. Okay, and I think that'll be it for that area for now. I'm going to do this bit here. So I think the warm grey one would be a good choice. I've got the warm grey one. I've just got the sepia 50 back. I just want to add a bit more here. I'm just going to go over this a little as well. Just put a bit more brown in it and then we move on. I'm probably going to come back to this with the black, but we'll do that once we've got more of the surrounding areas in. I'm going to go back to the burnt ochre. Just want to add a bit more orange down here. I'll put a bit of that over here in places. Right, I'm going to go back to the caput mortuum. I can find it. Hang on. Let's put a bit more red in this. Okay, dark sepia. Try and fill that line in, but I'm not having a lot of luck. I think they've just cut along there and it's gone through the paper. It is the only sheet they've done it to, thankfully. There's just a packing error. Right, so I'm just putting some lines in this bit of the bark as well. Just darkening it up a bit in places. So just slowly building it all up. Okay, so before we move on to doing a bit of moss work, I'm going to go in with the burnt sienna in places, just to warm up the colours a little bit, and I've also got the walnut brown, which I think might be a good one as well. Burnt sienna is one of my favourite colours actually. I do use it a lot. It just goes over, I think, pretty much any colour really. It's just a nice warm colour. Let's put a bit more here. So I'm going by the photo, mine's not exactly the same. Just going to switch to my walnut brown. I'm just going to bring that over here a bit more. Just make this less of a... I don't want any shapes as such that are too round, or I want it a bit more irregular looking, so it's more natural. just add a bit up here as well. Then I think we'll do a bit of work on the moss, and then we can revisit the bark if we need to. Right, so let's get this moss bit in. I've got the brown ochre 10%. I'm going to use this as a base layer. So I'm just going to fill it all in. So where it goes more green at the bottom, I'm going to leave, just fill out the more yellowy bits. So let's just move along here. I'm just going to take out a bit of pencil and a bit of the line art out there. Still see it a very little bit, but by the time I've finished this drawing, it'll all be hidden. Just got the brown ochre 10% a bit more, just put a bit more in places. Okay, and then for the greeny areas, I'm going to go with the where was it now? The olive brown 50. We just used up here. I'm going to put a bit of that on the greeny bits down here as well. I think I'll sharpen that in a minute. So I'm just sort of doing irregular movements just because there's lots of different shapes going on, so I'm just sort of letting my pencil go wherever really, just to do these random little marks. Looking more like a nice branch there now, so it's coming together. Put a bit over here as well. So I've now got the yellow ochre, which I think would be a nice colour, this vibrant yellow. You can hear some funny breathing. My dog's snoring. She's finally settled and she's now asleep, so. I'm going to bring that over the green as well in places, so let it all merge together. So it's quite bumpy on the top here, so I'm just going to do lots of little bumps. Okay, now we've got some light brown as well in the moss. I was thinking of burnt sienna, but I think the walnut brown would be a better bet. So I've got the walnut brown here. So I'm just doing little random shapes really, just to copy the photo. You could really take your time with something like this and really go into detail if you wanted. The sort of thing that's nice to do while you're watching a good film or listening to a book. I'll go back to the burnt ochre as well in the polychromes, just to add a bit of orange. That would be a good idea. I've got the burnt ochre here. Just going to go back to my yellow ochre now in the Luminance. I'm just going to switch to the olive brown 50, just add a bit more of this green, and then I think we'll just darken everything up. Trying to fill that little line in there. I think that's as good as I'm gonna do it, really. It's quite a harsh line on the paper, but that'll be fine. We just leave it as it is. That'd be good. Not a lot we can do about it. Put a bit down here, and then I'll put a bit up here, a bit more. Okay, let's get the sepia, the dark sepia, and then we'll do a bit of black. So I've just sharpened my dark sepia, and I'm just going to go around the edges of this bark now just to sharpen it all up a bit more. And then, as I say, I might use a bit of black as well. Put some of these bark lines in as well. Some more lines here as well at the top where the bark splits. Just going to fill this little bit here with the go the warm grey too, just to put something in there. I think I've got warm grey 1, but I just put a little bit more, something more in there. That's fine. So I've now got the black. So I just want to, especially down the bottom here, really darken it up. And like here, I'm just going to lightly go over so it's not a sharp line, just gently merging that in. Okay, and then let's continue going down the rest of the branch there. I'm going to go under this moss as well. Let's just do a little bit up here. I'm going to start these feet now. So I've got the cinnamon. I think what would be a good idea is just to fill them in with the cinnamon. I need to touch this one up again in between. I'm just going to get I mean yours is probably fine. Just need to take that up a bit between the little claws there. That's better. That's it. I knew it wouldn't take too much. So yeah, let's just go back in with the cinnamon. Just get these little claws in, and then we've got the little claws on this one. I've now got the burnt sienna. We've got a bit of this in places, but they're very small. And where it's light, I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to sort of go on the outer side with this, just to get the shape. I've got that little one behind. So this is a bit more complicated, this one. So I'm literally just looking at the reference photo and drawing what I see. I'm going to run that up the leg bit, little leg there. Okay, I think the walnut brown, yeah, we've got the walnut brown here. I'm going to sharpen mine. Right, so I've got the walnut brown here. And his little toe around the back there is quite dark. I'll say toe, claw really. Okay, let's go with the dark sepia. So I'm just gently darkening them up. I've got the dark sepia here. I might use the sepia to do the claws and then darken them up with the black if I need to. Just get these claws in. I've got the black now, just going to darken it up in places. And then I'm going to go to the burnt sienna. I just want to put a bit of shade in underneath the feet here. Going to go over a bit more with this burnt sienna here. I've now got a sharp Pablo white, and I'm just going to put a few little light bits in. When there's a bit of light sitting on top, just put a bit of white Pablo in. So I've just turned my light off, so hopefully it looks okay for you. It's just so that I can see a bit better without the light, if that makes sense, just so I've got true colours. I've got the white luminance here, sorry, I've got it nice and sharp. So now I'm just doing a bit of tinkering, just keep looking at my photo and just adding little bits really. So yeah, this is just the white luminance. It seems to be working a little bit better than the Pablo. It's working better over the colours we've put down. For some reason the Pablo's not quite cutting it. Which surprises me actually, because the Pablo's normally spot on for, but the luminance, as you can see, it seems to be covering quite nicely. So yours at this point might be absolutely fine. I'm just adding a few bits here and there. Let's come over here. So you could spend lots of time on something like this and really get in with the detail. I might put a bit more detail on the feet with the white. They're so small. I was hoping to put a bit of shine on the claws there. Okay, I think that's okay. I'm just going to move up to the bird a little bit. I just want to add a bit more detail on the robin. brightening up the chest area a little bit. I just want to fill in this bit near his leg where it's in the shade. I've still got my light off, but it looks okay to me in the screen. I've just got the dark sepia. As I say, I'm still just touching up areas that I feel needs a bit more work. I'm just darkening this bit here. I'm just going to run that along the bottom. So yours might be absolutely fine. So here we are with our finished robin. So I thought I'd share mine as I normally do at the end now. So this is my finished robin on his branch. I hope you've enjoyed that one. It's been quite nice to work on a lighter surface. As I said at the beginning of the video, I haven't used this colour in the Kansan velvet before. If I remember correctly, it was the cream white. But yeah, I think that's been quite a nice, fun little drawing. I've got quite a lot of this paper left, so I'll definitely use it up with something else. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it and that you actually give it a go. If you do enjoy it and you would like to share, then please do. I always like to see them. So I'm already thinking about my next drawing. I think it might be a squirrel or some sort of wildlife anyway. But I think the squirrel that I've got on my album would be the next one that I'm thinking. So yeah, if you've got any questions about all of that, then do let me know. I will get back to you. And if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, please. It means a lot to me, and it does support me as well. So yeah, with all that said, I hope that you'll join me on the next one.